Hello, everybody. My name is John Weisenberg, and I'm a board-certified behavior analyst here at Better Living Center for Behavioral Health. I'm going to be going with the clinical interview form today for conducting a functional assessment of anxiety. Now, the clinical interview form is one of two parts of a functional assessment. The other part is going to be the direct assessment. But right now, we're looking at that clinical interview, and this is when we start developing the hypothesis for what situations and stimuli evoke these different fear responses, and then what's maintaining those fear responses. So I'm going to be sharing my screen, and then we'll look specifically at these parts of this form. So that first part's going to be talking about those fear cues. So what external environmental situations and stimuli that evoke some of these fear responses? So for example, driving on a busy road, getting an email, being around your coworkers, walking into a doctor's office, and then certain stimuli such as vehicles, your coworkers, a doctor, maybe some insects, all these different things that might be evoking these fear responses. Now the next one's going to be those internal triggers, so the bodily signs and sensations. Now these are the physiological responses that people have when they encounter situations and stimuli. So for example, dizziness, headaches, goosebumps, elevated heart rate, arm pains, all kinds of different examples that people might be feeling during these situations and stimuli. Now the last part's going to be the intrusive thoughts, so ideas, doubts, images, and different memories that they're thinking about. For example, dirty items, violent images, different illnesses, spreading those illnesses, superstitious thoughts, embarrassing memories, lots of different things that people may be thinking about. Now, that second part is going to be those feared consequences of the exposures. What are people fearful of when they interact with those situations in those environments around those stimuli? Lots of different potential things. But for example, if I don't wash my hands, I will get myself sick and everybody else sick. If I do get a job, I will lose all my free time. If I talk to my coworkers and I embarrass myself, I may get fired or want to quit my job. If I don't walk perfectly through a doorway and it doesn't feel right, harm might come to myself or other people. Lots of different consequences with this different situation and stimuli that people might be fearful of. Now, the last part is going to be the safety-seeking behaviors. What things are these people doing so that they avoid all those different consequences that they're most fearful of? So the first one's going to be that passive avoidance. So for example, just checking the mirror, looking at your makeup, maybe looking at your phone, making excuses to not go to a party or a work function, always walking on the right-hand side of the street. So passive avoidance. Next one's going to be checking or reassurance seeking. So maybe checking over and over again at different situations and stimuli. For example, seeing if the door's locked, seeing if your computer's in your backpack, checking to make sure that I look just right in the mirror over and over again. And then the reassurance seeking, that's going to be involving other people in your environment. So asking a loved one, hey, are you okay? Hey, do I look okay? Or did I say that just right? Could I have done anything better? All these different things that you're saying to people to make sure that you're doing okay and you're avoiding all those different fears. Next one's going to be those compulsion rituals. So those compulsions are going to be something that maybe you're doing in the morning before you go to work or you go to school, something you're doing at night before you go to bed. Lots of different repetitive behaviors that may or may not take a person a half hour, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. You might be rewriting things. You might be rereading things. You might be arranging things. All types of rituals that you do over and over again. Now, the next one's going to be those covert or those mental intrusive rituals that you do. And those may involve repeating in your head those words and phrases, replaying a conversation in your head, thinking about those different rituals in the morning or in the evening. Again, those are repetitive thoughts of those rituals. That last one's going to be those safety behaviors. So things in your environment that signal I'm going to be okay and avoid those different consequences. So that might be having antibacterial soap in the bathroom or in your kitchen. That might be the fact that your food is plastic wrap. It might be having gloves available before you touch certain things. So all kinds of different things that signal to you that I will be okay if I do this. Now that's clinical interview form. And a lot of times, again, that's what's going to help us develop a hypothesis to why these people are engaging in those behaviors and also what's maintaining that function. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys soon.